For today's video, we're at this really exciting water tower project in Widdington, just outside Saffron Walden. Loads of interesting details here with faceted windows, window master motors, different types of cladding systems, and you can see some of the old details of the original cylinder and central column inside the water tower. So let's go and have a look around. Shall we start by going up to the top of the tower? There's an interesting detail here with the soffits on the building and how the guttering works. It's kind of pitched out and then it curves around, and all of the corners here are welded, which gives a really tight mitered finish. This timber cladding system is quite interesting in that it's a clip-based system. So there's a rail system behind this that plastic clips, a bit like the aluminium cladding on some of our products, and so the timber clips onto the plastic clips. And then over here you can see how the builder has gone to quite a lot of detail to cut the timber around the soffit system, which creates a really nice little detail. We're here on the top living floor of the water tower project in the actual cylinder that held the water, and here the builders have cut out an opening with a steel support, and we'll have faceted Velvac windows here with angled corner posts to link them together, and you can see the amazing views that you're going to get here when it's all finished. It's quite a still October day here today, but obviously in the winter it can get really windy and wet up here with such an exposed location. So it really suits our types of products that have high air, wind and water ratings, and the sealant system that we use, the seal being just as important as the window itself in terms of weather tightness. Up here at the top of the water tower again, you can see the external wall insulation that's gone on here. And this combined with internal wall insulation is going to give a really good improvement to the solid concrete walls that were here that have been cut out to provide the window openings. We're inside the cylinder of the water tower here, and you can see the central section that the pipes would have run up and down, and that's going to be converted into a lift shaft so the clients can easily get up to this top floor level and experience the 360-degree views off the balcony and this window. And when we install the Velvac system, we do so with the Ilbrook i3 installation system, and as we've experienced in passive house projects, that gives a really good level of air tightness, and a big side benefit of that is the sense of quiet and calmness because of the lack of air movement. So up here in this sort of environment where it's going to be so windy potentially on certain days, that's going to be a real selling point. One of the windows here on the side of the staircase that comes up, and you can see pre-window installation the level of preparation that needs to happen for a Velvac window. So here you've got the reveal boards that are already in place, because we'll fit up to this and seal to this element of the facade, and then the builder has gone to the trouble of sealing the reveal boards there so that we get a good level of air tightness, and there's no bypassing of our seal around the cladding system. On the roof here you can see the preparation for the solar panels. There's various parts of the building where they've got solar panels going in. And you can see one of the interesting details here, because these would have been the original concrete columns that held the cylinder at the top of the tower, and how those have been clad, and then the external wall insulation added to insulate the floor of the top section. Here next to the utility room door, we've got an example of this cladding system that's not quite complete yet. There's a plastic and metal rail system horizontally, and then these clips that fix to it. The timber boards themselves have got grooves machined into them, so they'll clip onto that system, and then you end up with a completely secret fixed cladding system. And in the future, if you need to remove a board, there's a little release key that you push in between them, and that will allow it to pop off. Down here at the bottom of the staircase, which is going to be 4 stories altogether, but you can get a real idea of the scale of this building from this height here. At this stage of the build, before the plastering's been done, you can still see elements of the original water tower structure, and then there's the new elements like this balcony. This is going to be a Velvac in tilt and turn door, because there's limited space on the outside for the door to open to, and it's going to be a double door with which will have a tilt function on the master leaf. This is the shaft of the water tower, which originally held the pipework and the ladder centrally to go up to the top. That's going to be the final lift position, so it's quite interesting to see it and see some of the old concrete detailing, which on the outside has all been insulated and rendered. We're just walking around the first floor here to see these panoramic views and the windows that are going to go in here. This is going to be one of the doors to the future lift shaft that goes down the original centre shaft of the water tower. From the windows on the first floor here, we can see the client's old house across the road. Must have been quite interesting to live here and see the water tower perhaps in use in earlier years and then decide to develop it. The second balcony on the first floor, you can see over there, nice juxtaposition of the grey render and the charcoal cladding. It's quite a nice little detail how they've finished the edge of the render there and then overclad with the cladding to finish it off. From up here at the first floor balcony, we can see the guys starting to load out the screen elements. These are quite big and heavy units that are going to be coupled together to form about a 5 metre wide screen. I'm here now in the kitchen living area, open plan part of the house, underneath that big circular skylight, and you can see how the light floods in here. And now we've started installing this huge faceted Velfac screen. Each element here is about 2.8 metres tall, and so that some of them can open. We've got some here with integrated window master motors, which you can't actually see because they're so nicely integrated into the Velfac system. But when wired up, that will allow the client to press a couple of buttons and get ventilation here. These big fan lights up here, they've got the window master motors integrated into them, so that's all factory fitted in the Velfac factory. And when wired up, you can control them on a positive or negative feed, just to open or close them quite simply. Multiple motors can be wired together to work in synchronisation. And what we do is we leave you with the spur, which is routed through the coupling between the window and the next window, and then that can later be attached to the electronic equipment by the electrician. We're just going to look at one of the corner windows here, which has got a different sort of detail to usual. The Velfac window is actually factory mitered here, so that when we put them in the hole, they'll mitre together outside of the line of the steel. So the steel's on the warm side of the wall and maintains the insulation and doesn't create a thermal bridge. And then we'll have the Velfac post on the outside and aluminium cladding like in our other video at Duke's Meadow. On the outside now of the kitchen and living room open plan area, you can see how these faceted windows in the Velfac system go together. We've got an angled corner post which is bespoke manufactured for this project, so from our survey, and eventually that will be covered with an aluminium pressing that comes out and matches the profile of the windows. We've also got to survey for bespoke sill flashings to match the curve of the wall, but ultimately this will all be paved up to sort of window level. This site's in the flight path from Stansted Airport, so it's quite regular that we get fly paths from planes here and also some military plane action around here. Thanks for watching today. This is definitely a project that we want to come back to in the future to show you the finished product. There's loads of interesting details here, and with the scaffolding down it's going to look so much different than it does now. So don't forget to like our videos and subscribe and give us a comment.